So I just got this waverunner EX yesterday. I don't know much about them, but was out on the water and it just started vibrating and quit pushing me. And I read online a lot of people said underneath that the grater around the propeller gets clogged up. I looked underneath there and I don't see anything clogged. Don't see much back here, but it's kind of making a funny noise, and when it did it popped. So I'm gonna take all this apart, my best guess. And this is the drive coming out of the engine. I thought it might be something to do with that, but I started it and that was spinning, so I think it's something farther back that I can't see. Took a little pull with both hands, but that came loose. Found that in there, and this little seal I need to replace, looks like, and there's a little bit of pockets on this propeller, so I'll probably be replacing that soon, but I'm not going to do it right now. Sometimes I make these videos just so I can see how stuff was and goes apart. First thing I noticed was I pulled this out when I was trying to pull that line out, and I tried to get it back in there, but it wasn't working too good with just pliers. I felt like I was going to break it. I've got another idea I'm going to try. Yeah, with a couple pretty good taps, that thing started moving. I tried to get a pair of pliers on it, and it just started to fold up. And I tried to put the pliers like this and tap it, and it wasn't going. I've got this deep well socket, and it fits over here and catches this lip. I'm able to tap it back down like that. So got that back in there. That was my first thing. A lot of people use wire brushes on this stuff, and I didn't think that was too good an idea. I'm gonna try to take this flat razor. They make better ones and stuff with handles. That's a lot safer. Should use gloves. I'm just gonna try to keep it flat. You definitely don't want to nick it or anything. They make plastic razor blades. That's probably good. This is a card. I thought about trying something like that. It works pretty good. That's probably a good way not to damage anything. You could probably use the wire, but this thing's pretty new to me, and it's only got 80 hours, and I'm not even sure this stuff's been apart yet. I don't want to really cause any more wear than I have to. I don't think it'll do too good on this, and I just inspect this while I was in here. And I'm not going to take any of this stuff apart until I do replace the impeller, propeller, whatever it is. I kind of looked at this bucket here just to see if there was any slop in it. Up and down would be normal, but in and out is probably not as good. But this one don't look too bad, but I was just a couple things you might check while you got it out. I can't believe I didn't see that stick either. It was on this side, and that would have been the side underneath the grate, so I should have been looking at it. I don't know if it was just rotated above me in a spot I couldn't see or what, but I started it and looked back up under there, unless it just landed in the wrong spot or just at the right angle where I couldn't see it. I should have been able to remove that with from underneath, so be sure to check underneath real good and a couple different, positions on your shaft. Surprised me, but I was able to get it pretty clean without any power tools. I used the razor blade and on the side for the most of it, and then come back in with my card, applying pretty good pressure, getting around it, and worked pretty well. So I did the same thing on the back here. Took my card and just cleaned off all the high spots. Most of it stayed on the other side. This tail housing's pretty clean. I put a little grease on the shaft. I'm also going to put a little bit on this where the shaft goes through right here, where it's already ripped. Put a little bit there. It really don't take too much. You don't want to get, this grease where this black RTV is going to be. They be a little much, but pretty much just a thin coat's all you want. Got it around these dowel pins. And then all these flat surfaces out here. I'm sure that's too much, but it'll be alright. We're gonna put it together. You definitely don't want to drop this thing on concrete because it's cast aluminum. You could break it. And I didn't take out this bottom pan like most people do. Probably should. It'd give you a lot more room. I think I got it on the shaft there. Now we just need to line up those splines and line up the dowel pins. Felt the seat. I see a little RTV mashed out, so that's a good thing. Alright, you got 5 bolts here. These are the same length, these 4. This one is shorter. And it goes off to the side here, the shorter one. And I don't know if you see me, but when I was taking it apart, I didn't take this pan off. I almost missed this 5th bolt that was down here. I took that one, and this bottom one. All of them I could see out, and started to pry, and then I noticed there was a bottom one, so make sure you get all 5 out. And these, I don't have red Loctite, so I'm going to use blue because it's what I have, and I know I'm going to take this back apart pretty soon to put the impeller on. And these are all 14 millimeter. And to get to that bottom one without taking the plate off, I used a couple extensions. I gotta snake it in there, but it's doable. These are 14s. I'm gonna cross these like in a star pattern, like you would a wheel if you're putting it on. Run them down evenly. Would be a lot easier to get it off, definitely, to take this plate off, because there's not very many places to pry, and you kind of need to be down at the bottom. I've seen a lot of guys using a good sized pry bar, and it worked out a lot better. But as long as you're not on the face where it seals on one of the mating faces, then you can you're good to pry, like out here and in on these lips. Got them all snug, pretty close to the same, and I'll put one more final torque on them. Just a little bit tighter by feel. I'm just kind of putting good pressure on it, and when it stops, I let it stop. I don't try to go more. Got dark on me out here, so I got to get a little help from the Subaru. Got dark on me out here, so I got to get a little help from the Subaru. I'm a mini trucker. Extra bases written all over it. So I I got those all tight. Didn't want to go too tight. You might want to blow these out because they're encased in here, and you don't want to have like water or old caulk in there and tighten them down. You might try to crack. Really, the only thing you need to do this is 14 or 12 extensions. This top's 5mm or 5 Allen, and then if you want to tighten it here, that's a 10, and then a 10 on the bottom too. So really, you need a 10, that flathead, and a 12 and a 14, a couple extensions, some Loctite and some black RTV. But yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be back. Alright, I got a light coat around there. I did a little better on that one. And we've got our four bolts left. There's 4 that go in this, but we gotta put this bracket on, and we've got these 2 that go up top there. So I'm gonna go ahead and Loctite these ones also. Take this out of the way. I'm going to start at the bottom because we got to get the bracket for the top. So we're going to start both side bottoms. We're going to put this bracket on next. The EX is a little different because you don't have the reverse. It actually makes it a lot easier to do this without the reversed bucket. Something don't look right there. I think I got this backwards. Yeah, definitely backwards. Yeah, I had this bracket flipped around. This edge was trying to get into the housing there, so I knew that was wrong. Another good way to tell is look for where your washers have been setting around the holes. But that looked like that's the only piece really you can get backwards, and that was, I mean, don't try to force anything. If it don't go, look at it. And I put Loctite on that one. Got the last one. We'll tighten everything back up and put our steering rod in, hook the hoses. Thought at first that it just drove straight up from the bottom, but it threads into that aluminum. I'm going to tighten the top bracket last. I'm going to get this pump seated on flush and across everything, just like I did the front part. That we didn't use a flathead, or I think that's like a 7 or an 8mm. If you're having trouble with these hoses, I used a little pick or a little screwdriver to get in there. A heat gun would also help you a lot to get it off there when they're stuck pretty good. You want to be careful with a pick not to poke through it also. Got the lines on there finished. Tightening these 2, and they definitely don't need to be over tight. I Found out that bracket's a little sharp, so be careful on it. Oh, I forgot a washer. Yeah, that thing's got a washer both the top and bottom. Thread locker just on this bottom. I don't have any reverse cable or anything since it's an EX, so that's the final step, the steering. That's it. It wasn't too bad of a job for somebody that's never done it before. I do have other experience working on stuff, but it's really not too bad. You got 4 bolts on this, 5 on the back, and then this bracket and your couple hoses. It's harder taking it apart than it is putting it back together. I didn't have to take this off ever. Mostly everybody does, and it is helpful, gives you more room, but you don't have to. It's doable without it. I did take the grate off the bottom just when I was looking for the stick, but I'll put that back on and maybe try it out sometime this weekend. Finally got it out on the water, and it's running good. My blue Loctite held up. Been out here for about 3 hours, and before I was just idling, and when I went to take off it just vibrated real bad and wouldn't accelerate over, like, I don't know, like 10 kilometers an hour or something. But I'll show you it's running good now. Got plenty of power.